3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
I always win that competition.
Yeah, for some reason, I never seem to get it right. I think Christina must have given you a lot of hinters and pointers because I can't win that contest no matter how I try.
Well, it's sad, too, because we shared a hotel room over the weekend in Savannah, and I was trying to show you how to do it, and you just weren't getting it.
So, I just went soprano. That's the problem.
That's right. That's right. Anyhow, welcome to a special pop-in, as we like to call it, no notice edition of the Dennis and Andy Show. We were in Savannah, Georgia over the weekend for the Savannah Mega Comic-con. Got to make sure I say mega because there's two different Savannah shows. This one is the Savannah Mega Comic-con. I was there as a guest. Dennis came down with me. We had both my banner and our show banner behind us. And we had a good time. I met some fans. I actually met some backers of First Man, so that was very cool. They came up, said we backed it. We backed the second one, so that was very nice. Yeah, it was a good time had by all. And we of course picked up some loot, which we will show you guys as well. But one of the first things we want to show you is we met the one, the only Flash Gordon. Sam Jones.
We did. He did. He came up. He was also a guest there, and I had met him at Mikey's show a few years ago in Fayetteville. And I'm telling you, the guy just doesn't age. This is the third time I met him, and he doesn't get any older. It's just scary. I actually had to tell him that. But he walked over to the booth, just sat down, wanted to talk. He was chatting about us, and got our picture with them in our booth. So it was just absolutely great. Love the Flash Gordon and love him on Ted.
It's funny because I'm looking at this picture and maybe it's just everybody has a perception of themselves, a picture of themselves in their head, And when I was looking at him, I was like, man, that dude is just jack tall. But then seeing this picture, yes, he's taller than me. He's a tad bit taller than you, but it's not like the picture in my head. Like the picture in my head was like a head taller than me. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean the dude's like 71, I think. I want to say 70.
Yeah,
71,
he's in amazing shape. I mean, he is. He's jacked. He looks fantastic, and he's good there. I think he's probably about 6'3", I would guess. And but I mean, his hands are big and massive, and it's just funny because when you see, like Hyper Kaiju says, Flash, in the movie, I mean, he's built, but he just didn't look as tough. I mean, as tall, he just didn't look as big. He actually is bigger in person than what I recollect him being in the movie. Most of the time in Hollywood, it's the opposite. They're much smaller in person than what they appear on there.
Right.
He was kind of the opposite, but he's still big. Don't get us wrong.
That's the funny thing. I would love to have had I would love to get a picture with like Sly Stallone one day, and that same thing where he's in the middle of both of us. Because Sly's like 5'8", so he'd be basically, 2 inches shorter than me. Could you imagine that picture? You'd be towering over Sly. I'm taller than Sly. Same with like Tom Cruise. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It just wouldn't be the same because I mean, I shouldn't be taller than Rambo.
I know. And I believe the way Hyper Kaiju meant that to be read is kind of like the movie Flash. Flash.
Yep.
Isn't that how it was
Speaking
in
of
the
going
movie?
soprano.
That's right. So there we
Yeah.
got them, and then next to us was Dennis can explain better. Karen Whitfield. Did I say that right?
Whitfield.
Whitfield. Karen Whitfield. That's the woman right here next to Dennis. This is her son and his son's wife. And Dennis, you can explain it probably better than me. I'm not in the picture because somebody had to take it.
Well, I said we could take one with you in it, and Andy's like, no. Yeah. No, we it was great. They were our other neighbors, so we got to meet them. They're kind of new to the con scene. So after the original Batman 66 show wrapped up, they kind of took starting in about 1977, Burt Ward and then Batman Adam West. They went off. They started going out to shows. They would open up stores and things like that. Before cons were a big thing, they started doing the early conventions and like the early store openings, and that's what the guest did. Well, she was the iconic Batgirl, and when she talks about it's in her book. She's got a book called Batdriven, which she was selling there. And for any Batman fans, you can look it up, and find it on Amazon and stuff. But she traveled with him from 1978 to 1984. So she was the Batgirl, basically the Batgirl from Detective 359. So she even had to get, because it was kind of based off of that costume that she wore and everything like that. And it was really, really cool. She got permission from DC to actually use the first appearance of Batgirl in her book and everything like that. They're an absolutely fantastic family. That's her son, Clay, and then her daughter-in-law, Jamie. They were absolutely wonderful neighbors. We got to hear so many cool stories about in the day because her son never grew up not knowing her mom was Batgirl for all these years, happened to find the costume in a box one day and thought maybe it was a costume. And she's got some great stories. So much, in fact, that she did ask, and she wants to be on our podcast. So we are going to set something up in the near future for Karen to come on the show and talk about it. It's just, she's got great stories in those early Batman days.
Yeah, she was a absolute delight, and talking to her son and her daughter-in-law, it was really fun. So that was very cool as well. So that's who we got to meet among, like I said, fans and things like that.
Yeah, we had a lot of people coming up and some of the listeners into the show. Andy had a lot of fans coming up. He did a fair amount of signing throughout the day. Bunch of pictures taken. We met a lot of new people and saw a lot of old friends there. It wound up being a really fun show worth the 4-hour drive. Oh yeah. And yeah, it was just really cool. Tiring. I slept in a little bit today, I will say. Slept in. I'm not doing too much this afternoon. Just kind of chilling out and stuff. But, we figured we'd pop on before tonight's show, where don't miss out. Sergio Cariello is going to join us, a buddy of mine. And speaking of which, I'll start off with showing some of the stuff I picked up right here. Batman Wildcat by Mr. Sergio Cariello. He drew the book. Art to Bear from the Professionals inked it. 3-issue miniseries. Chuck Dixon on writing. It was a Chuck Dixon and Bo Smith on writing. Whopping $5 for all 3 issues. So I was like, I'll get that. So I picked that up. Dennis, you're up. We'll go back and forth. All right. I wound up, so for me, I wasn't didn't pick up any super huge books. I was just there to see if I could fill in a few holes. So I picked up E-Man. So any of you who've watched our show and know me know that E-Man was one of my first earliest superhero comic books. And of course, my dog had literally eaten them. So I'm kind of back there picking up the series. I didn't have a number 3. It's in pretty low shape, but it's a classical. It's Nicola Cuddy wrote it, and then Joe Stanton, had of course did the art. So that was a cool find because it's one of the E-Mans that I need to pick up from Days of Old.
Days of Old. That's right. So that's it. That's a fun one. I picked up Justice League number 111. It's a 100-page giant, as you can see, for only 60 cents, even though it set me back $10. Well, worth it. It has a brand new lead story by Dick Dillon, whose art I really love, and inked by Dick Giordano. And I think Dick is just one of the ultimate inkers. He was so great, and you could definitely tell his style when he inked an artist's work. You could still see the artist shine through, but Dick had a very nice inking style in the Silver Age and so forth that I really enjoyed. And of course, it reprints some other older Justice League stories as well. So I've been wanting to get this one. Another reason is because when the professionals, I want to say it was Graham Nolan, said this was one of the first comics he ever bought back in the day. And I was like, oh, I got to get that just, for that little connectivity there with a fellow professional. So that is one I picked up.
Nice. I picked up Spider-Woman number 16.
Ooh.
Now, you guys may be asking, Spider-Woman? Really, Dennis? Why? Because I've got the entire set, all except for number 16. It's not a special book. It's nothing big, but bam. We're getting.
Dennis, if somebody ever asks why, your response should be, yours is not to question why. It is just to shut up and listen. That's
Well, needless to say, Mark Grunwald, Carmine Infantino.
Yep.
Great. Yep. Fantastic.
Nice. I didn't realize Mark wrote that, so that's pretty cool. I think Carrie Bates wrote the Justice League.
Yeah, so that one finishes out with Spider-Woman. I'm all done with it finally after all these years. It was not an expensive book. It was just one I could never find.
What it run to? It didn't end with issue 50, or did it?
Yeah, 50 was the last one.
It did. So it ended on a nice round. That's cool. Anniversary issue and last issue.
Yeah.
I got Superman. This is 423. It is the last Superman before John Byrne took over. And Man of Steel, of course, DC did that bullshit retconning where around 600 or something, they started before the new 52, they started renumbering Superman with where it should have been. So it was around 600 something when they went back to that numbering. Kind of annoying, but this is technically the last Superman issue. Great art by, the cover is by Kurt Swan and Murphy Anderson, signed Swanderson because they worked together so much on Superman. But the inside is drawn by Kurt Swan. He did the send-off, and then the inks were by George Perez. Of course, there's the last issue of Action Comics that this story continues in. This was written by Alan Moore along with the Action Comics. I still need to get the Action Comics, but later, a few years later, they did a reprint collecting both stories in one, square-bound book, which I've always had. I just never had the actual last issues, and I was like, I'd like to get that. So I wheeled and dealed and got it for $15. It's in really nice shape. So
cool. Well, in this next one, Andy actually picked it up for me. The one I've been looking for, Adventure Comics number 415, which actually reprints the original Strange Adventures. Andy got this one, and we were both trying to find this book because, of the subject matter. We actually want to do a podcast episode just on this cover, and we thought, it shouldn't be that hard to find with all the conventions we go to. Andy got one probably in the second convention, and we haven't been able to find one since. It's not an expensive book. Again, it's just nobody brings adventure comics to shows. They're really kind of hard to find.
No, they do bring them. They just usually, every time I've looked, it's usually issues in the 300s, and then most dealers stop before it even gets to 400. Like it goes to like 380, 385, and then it stops. You know, and you're like, damn, because that's 415, I believe, or 412, something like that.
That one is 415, and you know, I actually can't wait to read it because it's got, you know, the 3 different stories because it's the reprint, you know, but it's got the 3 different stories, and you'd see Win Mortimer. I know Carmine Infantino was in it, Gray Morrow. So, I mean, it's got some good artists, and, you know, I can't wait to actually read it. It's just one of those cool ones. But we'll save that one for an entire episode because we are going to talk about the cover.
Yeah, I'll have to reread it. I'm pretty sure. I know Bob Oxner drew the cover. I think he drew the interior story with Supergirl as well. Let's see. Oh, I picked this up. This was another book I used to have. And, actually, you know what? I'll just go with this one. I used to have this, and then I got rid of it, and now it's a stupid hot book. So I picked it up again. I got it for a good deal. You know, Ghost Rider 28, the first issue in the Midnight Sun storyline. I used to have it because, you know, it's Andy Kubert pencils, his dad, Joe Kubert, doing the inking on the cover and the inside. Great art. I don't know what happened to my copy, but I got it again. And I don't mind. It's a good book. It's still in the poly bag with the poster, and I'm going to keep it that way. And maybe I can find a beat-up copy to look through. We'll see. Jay Lee's in the house. Hello. Good
Welcome,
morning.
Jay Lee.
You are not an East Coaster, my friend. It is 2:15 in the afternoon. Either that or you're a partier and just got up. So yeah, that's that one.
All right, and here's one that you probably won't guess that I picked up. Married with Children, issue number 1. Come on, the All-American fan.
So this is Andy here now because seriously, he got Married with Children number 1. That's like somebody buying, what would it be? Kool-Aid Man number 1. Oh, hey, Dennis.
Well, hey, I'm telling you, I literally love Kool-Aid Man. I loved Married with Children, and I got most of the series. I just didn't have this issue of number 1. This is great. Come on, Al and Peggy, you know, no ma'am. I kind of actually want to kind of break this out and read it right now, but we got too many things to do tonight. But yeah, fun book. So, you know, he can't all be superheroes.
Happy birthday, Jay Lee. Go out and get drunk. Awesome, Dennis. And live your life, man. Don't let anyone stop you. I mean,
especially Andy.
That's right. Especially me. All right. Up next, I had this is reprinted in the trade paperback, but I never had the standalone issue of it. Pit Half from Full Bleed. This was, like I said, printed in the trade paperback. So now I have the single issue of it. Pitt's first appearance. I want to say 1, 2, 3. I thought this 4, 5. I thought this was originally printed in Youngblood number 4 because I know that's where Pitt first showed up. So this could be something that Dale just did on his own under his Full Bleed banner. Yeah, encore presentation. So this was originally printed in Youngblood number 4, but Dale reprinted it, and there's a backup story as well. So had to get that. Had to do it.
Well,
JP
I wanted
Roca in the house. JP Roca in the house. Jay Lee says, I'm going to take a shot for Michael Turner since he would have been 50 and you turned 50. Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do 50 shots. Hyper Kaiju wants you to get totally drunk.
Wow. So take shot of that I wouldn't take, Jägermeister. Do your 50 shots of Jägermeister.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I picked up a lower grade. It's just one to read, but I needed a Captain Marvel number 2. Good old Roy Thomas, Gene Colan. From the void of space comes the Super Scroll. Duh, duh, duh. This is this classic stuff. Again, just filling in a couple of holes that I got.
I got that full run, by the way, Dennis.
I know you do. I just finished off Spider-Woman. You finished off Captain Marvel.
I'll say my Captain Marvel full run beats your Spider-Woman full run.
Oh, are we really going to do competitions here?
No, because your X-Men full run hands down beats my whole collection. So.
Well, and I'm going to give a shout out to Richard's Comics because, speaking of Captain Marvel, he had a really nice copy of number 5, The Mark of the Metazoid. Arnold Drake wrote it, and I'm not all that familiar with Arnold's stuff. I vaguely remember this one. Don Heck did the art, so it is one that I'm going to kind of want to go in and check out. This one's a classic, but yeah, Richard had a really nice copy of it. So thanks, Richard.
Very nice. I got, and I don't know why this one is like $6-7, but it was one of the last Silver Surfers I needed by Mr. Ron Garney and the Ron Garney run on Silver Surfer with Spider-Man and Daredevil. And I've been looking for it, and it's just one of those ones, kind of like that Adventure 415. You look through dude's Silver Surfer stuff. Obviously, it's Silver Age early stuff, and then it's later stuff. But this is just one I couldn't find, and the guy had it at the show. So I think it was like, I want to say it was $5. Sounds about right. So I got that. Read it last night. Loved it. Jay Lee says, hold on, got something to show you. Uh-oh, check my Twitter. I will do that.
Well, you do that. I'll show my next book while you pull it up. So I picked up a slabbed one. This just reprints Daredevil Annual 1. It's the giant size Daredevil. It's an 8.5. Try and get it away from the light. It's a nice shape. There's nothing super spectacular about this book. No major first appearances, anything like that. But for me, this is a good old-fashioned great book. And when I saw the price on the slab, it would have cost me the same amount of money to go get this slab than to get it in it. So I think I have the annual anyway to read it. It's just something I wound up picking up. But, yeah, good book. Good book.
That's cool. Last but not least, you can guess the title because it's ripped off. Thor 151. I gave it away. It was $5. I liked this issue, the Thor story, but the backup, they were doing the origins of the Inhumans, and this one features Triton. The issue before this is more expensive because it's Black Bolts, which I do plan on getting. But the Kirby art is great. The lead story is Kirby and Vinnie Coletta. The backup with Triton is Kirby and Sinnott, and I just love it. And I don't give a shit that the title's ripped off like that. So for $5, I took it. And I mean, let's be honest. Next time I go to Dennis's house, I'm going to be like, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm going to run to his office. And because everything is so organized, I'm going to open up his tea box, go to Thor, pop out his 151, slide in this 151, and then I'll have a complete one.
Uh-huh. It feels like what you did with Faith to me.
Oh, that's your favorite book of all time. I don't know why you would say that.
All right. So I wound up picking up, and it was one. I've got the full run of it, but this was a great copy. This one is Marv. This one's actually signed by Marv. Yes, Kirby stuff is awesome. This one was signed by Marv Wolfman in 2019. So, it's Marv's story and our pal Sal. It's his art. This is just a great book. It was signed and slabbed. Like I said, I've got raw ones of the whole run of it, and I love the run. So, yeah, for me, this was just kind of a fun one that I didn't need, but what the hell.
Dennis, I like my comics like I like my women, raw and used.
Really? Really? I can see why your wife never watches this podcast.
Whereas Dennis likes his comics likes his women like he likes his comics in mint condition, wrapped in plastic.
And then I take him and bury him out back.
Sealed shut. So who's worse? Somebody that likes them raw and used that can be played with over and over, or somebody that likes them in mint condition in sealed plastic so they can never be touched, but they will never decay?
NRFB. NRFB.
I don't know what that means.
Never removed from box.
Oh, right.
Wow, Dexter's Laboratory for any of you real nerds out there that like cartoons.
Speaking of Dexter, real quick, Dexter, the trailer for the new season, or the new part 2, whatever you want to call it, it comes out November 7th, is on YouTube right now, and it looks great. So just want to say.
Oh, that was a good show. That was a good show. But this was Dexter's Laboratory.
No, I know. Well, technically, Dexter had a lab.
He did. It was a mobile lab.
It was a kill room.
So, Fight Girls. Woo! Oh, I watched Dexter's Lab, Mazes and Monsters. Yeah, that's it. That's awesome. Fight Girls, Frank Cho. So there was a dealer there, a vendor that brought some of the new stuff. And I did all my quick flips this week, but there were a number of books that got shorted and stuff like that. This was one of them that we haven't gotten in yet that some of the shops did. So I was excited to find that one. So I will be probably doing a quick flip of that probably tonight, maybe tomorrow, depending on my time frame.
It was funny. I was flipping through the box of that new stuff at that dealer's table. Dennis got that from. And as you flip, and I flipped, and I saw it, and I was going like this, and Dennis goes, mine. And I'm like, damn, just like the X-Men Jim Lee XXL, sniping more shit out from under me. Whatever.
Wow. You really ought to be a writer instead of an artist because you make so much shit up. It's amazing.
I tell great tales of woe.
Well, Andy, when you go for Fight Girls, just have to think about faith. Gotta have faith.
Gotta have faith.
I picked up Revelation. Andy and I did watch He-Man and the Masters of the Universe minus the He-Man. And
by the way, Dennis, I read that.
One.
I read that last night.
Did you? Was it any better than the show?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, all I'm going to say is we watched it. We are going to talk about it on Wednesday. So we plowed through that TV show on Netflix when we got back from the convention one of the nights. And I am so glad we did.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll be talking about that on Wednesday, and we'll be talking about, we went and saw a movie Saturday night after the show. We saw Old
M. Night
Shyamalan's new movie. So.
Yep. Parasomnia, another one that I didn't see at either of the shops. So I was kind of curious on that one. It's interesting art. We should know, matter of fact, here, Andy, I'll give you a preview. See if you can tell me who the artist is.
Hold on. I'm going to full screen you. Oh, oh my God, the book, the guy, he did the New York whatever.
Maniac of New York. Yes.
Maniac of New York. It's that guy.
Moody. Yes. That is
Really?
Moody again.
What company's that one from?
That one's Dark Horse.
Damn, because the one that's coming out that he's working on now is from Aftershock again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Bunny Mask. He's doing Bunny Mask, which has been really good.
Bunny Mask.
Yeah. I did wound up, I put it down. We talked about it on last Wednesday's show. The guy I was talking with said you really do kind of need to read this. I had debated it. I said yes, then I said no, then I said yes, then I ultimately said no and put it down. The artwork, he said, is really good. You know, I didn't really want to spend money on Emilia Clarke and, you know, a girl who bleeds and gets superpowers and stuff like that. But he said it was worth a read. So you know what? He convinced me to buy this so that I can read it and then show you guys. So I will do a quick flip of it after all. Again, either today or tomorrow.
You know, it's funny. It just shows what a good salesman he is, because when you walked away, I overheard him say, "What a sucker that guy is." Hey, look who's here, Larry Allen. What is up, Larry?
Larry, welcome to the show, Larry. Wish you could have been with us in Savannah.
Yeah. Dennis, actually, though, seriously, if you can read that, well, there's no real time frame on it. I was just going to say, you read it, I'll read it, and instead of you doing a single review, we'll both talk about it, since we talked about it a few weeks back.
You know what?
So whenever you read it, just bring it over.
Read it, and I'll bring it over this week.
Yeah, and then I'll read it, and then we'll talk about it. I will keep you in prayer on that book, Dennis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. And then another one was Clans of Bellari. You know, I do like interesting books. This is a sci-fi aspect, so another one I will do a quick flip of for you guys to see. We'll find out. It's another one. I don't know anything about it, but it's new. Aftershock's been putting out some great stuff. It's an Aftershock one, so we're going to give it a shot.
Jay Lee says he's betting you'll flip out after page 3.
Well, could be. And you'll find out live when we do our review on it. And then the last one that I picked up it's a book from Image. I had not seen this one because I think they were sold out. Ordinary Gods. He said that this was probably one of his favorite ones that he had read up. He's a lot more into the independent stuff like we are. He's also, as a store owner, really scaling back on your Marvel and DC stuff. He recommended this one. Obviously, I haven't read it, so I will do a quick flip on this one either today or tomorrow and find out and let you guys know.
You're so nice.
Right. And then if there's any Dungeons and Dragons nerds, we wound up stopping at a Walmart, and they actually had minis they're die-cast, pre-painted minis. Now, yes, you all know I'm a big role player and used to. Well, they had a whole bunch of these, and, you know, they're cheap, you know, and honestly, the paint job's not all that great. You can kind of see, but it's got a base on it, and I can always sit there and get some paints out and do some and do some dry brushing and stuff on it. But, you know, these wound up being kind of cool. I actually didn't technically pick these up at the convention. But for all you Dungeons & Dragons, it's got Dritz Duerden and, you know, dragons. I mean, how can you go wrong? So anyway, just something fun for those of you nerds that love to do role-playing games.
Got a question for you.
Preferred D&D. Honestly, I'm probably going to say 2nd edition. The advanced D&D holds a strong place in my heart, as does the original box sets. 2nd edition was just amongst the most fun. 3 was good. 3.5 was better, but we had switched over to Pathfinder by then. But we always used the Forgotten Realms setting. And I've used the Forgotten Realms settings because, heck, even down here, I have all my Forgotten Realms box sets and stuff from 2nd edition. I've got all my 2nd edition stuff down there. I am learning 5th edition right now, and I do like it. And it does have a lot of feel from 2nd edition. And 4th edition was crap. I skipped right over it. It was so much garbage. So Pathfinder was it for a while.
Wow.
Good man. I grew up on 2nd, played 3.5 last. Yeah, 4th was garbage. The new 5th edition is really solid.
Oh, pop culture. We'll be back at 6. We just popped on now to show the loot that we picked up from the Savannah Mega Comic-con. I was down there as a guest, and Dennis came down so we could put up our Dennis and Andy Show banner and give out cards and all that fun stuff and whatnot. So just watch the replay. You can see what we got, but we will be back on at 6. So don't worry about that.
And for those of you that hopped on late, which is cool, because like I said, this was an impromptu one, go back and watch this, because at the beginning, you get to see who we meet, Flash Gordon and Batgirl from 1970, well, basically 7 to 1984, who was our neighbor. Great story, but we talked about that at the beginning of the show.
Hey, maybe if we go to that porno convention in Vegas, we can meet the actors from Flash Gordon.
We probably could. I hear Stormy Daniels is going to be there.
Sweet. Well, guys, this wouldn't be a Dennis and Andy show without me doing a little shill-in for First Man 2 Learning Curve. Check out the trailer right here. It's condensed, and I love this version.
Luke Henry, after kicking Monarch's ass to the depths of space, is back on Earth, and now he's looking to save the world from the Fourth World Foundation. Sure, he had helped with a number before, but she's not helping him this time. He's got to face it on his own. Look at these 4 people. He's coming for a villain known as Adonis. He'll do it. You'll be there. Back it now. First Man 2. Learning.
Booyah! 2 backers away from 220. That could be you. You could be one of the 2 that gets it to 220. Back it now. You can get the bundle, which has all the books and all the covers, or you can just get First Man 2 if you already got 1. You can get Bart's variant cover 1 and 2 if you missed the first one, because the first one is not in demand anymore. You can get volume 2 with both covers, mine and Bart's. Here's some of the preview art. Oh, the lovely Penumbra. Look at her with her bow Apollo. See, I did a rhyme there. I could be a rapper.
You could, but you won't.
I could, but no, I won't. It's too late in life to change paths and go that route. So back at First Man 2 Learning Curve now. We are already at the goal, but the more backers we get, the more stretch goals get unlocked, which means the more free stuff you get. So please give that a back. If you've backed it, give it a share, give it a tweet, Facebook it. You know the routine. And I love you all. We will be back at 6 o'clock tonight. Like I said, I already put the book on the floor, but I can pick it up. We're going to be talking to Sergio Cariello, artist for DC Comics for most of his career. This is one of the book series he did, Batman Wildcat, inked by our very own professional Art to Bear. I picked up all 3 of them for $5. He also drew the entire, I'm looking for it down here. I'll have it definitely to show later. Must not be in hand's reach. He drew the entire Action Bible that came out almost a decade ago now, I want to say, that has sold millions of copies worldwide. It is a gorgeous looking book. So we'll show that and talk to him about that and his career as well at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. So until then, guys, we'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. And everybody else, or everyone, have a good rest of your day.
And thanks for popping on at the last minute with us.
That's right.